What you're looking at here is a Yukon XL. It's a GMC Suburban, but this is actually a really rare one. And if you notice the lights on top of the roof there, the marker lights, and these two lights here in the back on these fenders, what that is indicative of is that this is a quadristeer or an all-steer. Quadristeer is the actual name, but when you look back here, you see that steering box, and then you have the two tie rod ends that go to that axle, and this actually turns this rear axle. So this has true rear steering. This is a vehicle that I'm doing a test drive on, and just because I've never driven one or seen one in person, I was driving by the dealership and saw that they had this there, and I was like, you know what, I just need to check this out. So they let me take it for a test drive, and holy cow, this thing can turn. I get that why they didn't catch on. Like, they only ran this for a few years, I think from early 2000s to like about 2006 I think is when this was discontinued. I could be wrong on that. From everything I've read, there's only about 5,000 of these units made, and most of them went in pickup trucks. So to see one in a suburban type platform is even more rare. So yeah, it's from what I've read online, a Dana 60 rear axle or front axle. So like you would see in your old school, like pre-independent front suspension pickup trucks, the 1-tons, they would have that big Dana 60 up there. And they've modified it, and it wasn't GM who truly did it, it was Delphi Auto, which is a auto parts manufacturer. And there's actually videos I've seen online of the predecessor to this body style, so the GMT 400, which is the more boxy style that you saw back in the 90s of Suburban. They actually did some test runs where they installed that on those types. So they've been playing with this technology for a while, and then they really tried marketing this toward the farmers, ranchers, pickup truck owners who do a lot of towing, because this is where this thing really shines. And it never truly caught on, because in 2003, 2005 era, these things are costing an extra $5,000 just to have the system installed. Like, this is not a cheap system back then. And there's a little bit of that worry of, hey, you know, is this thing gonna break down on me? Is there gonna be added costs, which I'm sure there are. I haven't read a whole bunch of reviews on these things of being problematic, but you know, there's just more moving parts here, so eventually things will wear out. But in a suburban platform, you know, for, you know, soccer moms and stuff, this is pretty awesome. So yeah, this is a kind of a rare vehicle. I'm not in love with the lift kit or the wheel choice on it, and you can tell people have upgraded things to it, and they haven't always done the best job on the upgrades to this one, which, you know, that's kind of a shame, because this is a pretty rare style of vehicle. This is a 3/4 ton, so you can tell that by being the eight lug wheel. And as far as I can have research is showing, the Suburbans, you could only get them in the 3/4 tons with the quadristeer. Also, this rear fender flare here is a little bit bigger than what you have on your typical Suburban or Yukons. It sticks out a little bit further, and that's why they have to have these marker lights here, because I'm assuming it was for DOT rules, the wheel has to be covered at all times, so that's why they have it sticking out further, because it is a wider set axle. Because you have to allow for that wheel to be out further from the body, otherwise when you turn it, you're going to ram that wheel right into those rear leaf springs. Now, they did offer the quadristeer on the 1500 package for the GMC trucks and the Chevy trucks, but I think for the Suburbans it was only offered in the 3/4 ton platform. And my guess to that is because the half-ton GMT 800s, or think of a half-ton version of the Suburban, they had rear coil springs, so they didn't have the leaf springs, where a half-ton pickup truck of the same body style would have leaf springs. So I think that's why you had to go with a 3/4 ton package to have this installed on there. So we're gonna do a little bit of driving around. It shows up a little bit better when you're looking out the rearview mirror, and you can see this thing really crabbing over, but you know, you can just see it's got your tie rod there that goes over to that box that's been attached to the rear diff. And I'll get you in here a little bit better. So there's your box. You have the motor right there off to the side, and then this tie rod connects to both sides of the axle there. And that's just what turns it. To activate it, you have 3 different modes. So when you hop in the vehicle, over on the far side there, you have 4-wheel steer. So what happens is you fire up the vehicle, and that's what you see. You have 2, 4, and trailer. So right now we're in 4 high, or 4-wheel steer. So 4-wheel steer, I'm going to try to pan the camera in here so you can actually see what is happening here when I'm driving around. So we're going to try to do our best here. So you can see that wheel is cocked a little bit. We put it in gear. We're just going to start spinning around here. I'm turning the other way, so I'm turning to my left. You see that wheel. So right now, I believe it's in the straight front position. And there we go, now it's kicked in and it's starting, so there's a little bit of lag there. I think that's when you first turn on the vehicle and you're starting to move. It has to orientate itself to figure out where it is in space. So that way it doesn't steer the vehicle somewhere it's not supposed to. So there we go, I'm gonna do a left-hand turn here. And right-hand turn. And you can see it moves that wheel a fairly decent amount. And it may not look like that much, but it's doing a huge amount for just being able to move this vehicle around. So there we go. That is what we like to see there. So that, you see how that really kicked that wheel out? But the wheel's starting to come back in toward the inline position. So I think it defaults automatically to, hey, I want to be in the neutral inline position. That way, if you take off, you're not going to be surprised by your rear end being kicked out from behind you. It's like right now I'm doing about 5 miles an hour. You can see full tread pattern there. But when I come to a complete stop, you can hear that motor in the back kicking in and trying to pull that tire back into a more neutral position. So I'm believing that's just a safety feature of how this is designed. So as far as kicking it around, this is probably going to give you the best idea of what it looks like when you're doing it. I have a 3/4 ton Suburban, same body style, everything, and this thing is so much better at driving. This is like driving a subcompact car. It is pretty impressive how tight I'm able to fit into spaces and just how quickly it maneuvers. So I'm turning in about 3.5 parking spots here. I'm able to make a turn. So I think it's a 37-foot turning radius that these things have. So yeah, this is one of those things that I kind of wish I had waited a little bit longer for and got one of these Suburbans with the quadra steer. This is just, it makes it so much more maneuverable. But then again, I do wonder, you know, hey, this is 20-year-old technology that is run by computers that is waiting to die. And not waiting to die, but we all understand how, you know, time and just the elements are hard on equipment and components, and eventually it is going to fail on you, where a just regular straight axle is, you know, that's never going to give you any problems. It's just going to keep going straight. As long as you change the oil and stuff, you'll be fine. So there's always that fear of trying to find parts for these things because they are kind of rare. But overall, this is kind of a neat vehicle. Not my normal content I put out there, but I just wanted to show this thing off just because I do find it kind of fascinating that, you know, 20 years ago they had this type of technology that they were experimenting with, and how it still works really well today. And just cool. I kind of wish that this had caught on a little bit more, but you know, there's that price point, and yeah, it never really caught on, but GM's trying to bring it back with the Hummers. So anyway, hopefully you guys got something out of that. I like looking at rare vehicles like this. It's kind of a new interest of mine. So thank you for checking it out.
Since its introduction in 1999, Silverado has proven itself to be more than just another full-size pickup. For 2002, Silverado is again ready to do the job and do the job right. With a lineup that includes powerful Vortec and Duramax diesel engines, massive towing capacities, durable, dependable components, and all new features. Features designed to make work easier and play more fun. Welcome to this Chevrolet product update video on the 2002 Silverado with Quadra-Steer. A number of standard performance features give Silverado the ultimate expression of control and power in a pickup. From trailering to hauling, Silverado offers a blend of on- and off-road performance unparalleled in today's market. And now the ultimate expression of control, Quadra-Steer. This revolutionary feature will be available in limited quantities for the 2002 model year, with production ramping up for the launch of the '03 Silverado. Quadra-Steer is revolutionary, an electronically controlled four-wheel steering system that gives Silverado the maneuverability of a small car, with the towing capacity, brute power, and performance of a Silverado. We're talking incredible maneuverability at slow speeds and a feeling of increased control at highway speeds, especially with a trailer in tow, thanks to a wider track and lower center of gravity. Quadra-Steer will be available on fleet-side 2- and 4-wheel drive extended cab 1500 series LS and LT models. It starts with a redesigned pickup box with flared fenders. This is necessary to accommodate the slightly wider 71-inch rear track, 5 inches wider than standard. QS4-equipped Silverados will also have marker lamps on both the box and roof. This is mandated by the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration. These trucks will also require the following options: a limited slip differential, the ZX3 ride control suspension package, the Z82 trailering package, and four-wheel drive models will also include AutoTrack, while two-wheel drive models will be equipped with traction assist. By the way, you should note that Quadra-Steer is not available with the ProTech box. You should also note that all Quadra-Steer-equipped Silverados come with the strongest metal inner box available on any truck Chevy produces. Now let's take a closer look at Quadra-Steer, what it does and what it can do for your customers. It gives the Silverado the nimbleness of some small cars, allowing your customers to effortlessly get in and out of driveways and parking spaces. Quadra-Steer allows parallel parking without as many of the annoying forward-backward steering maneuvers. The 37.4 turning radius is the same as a Saturn coupe. At low speeds, steering response is increased, while steering wheel movement is reduced. And because four-wheel steering reduces the degree of yaw, or rotational motion, that results during maneuvers at highway speeds, the vehicle feels more stable. When it comes to trailering, four-wheel steering means the truck's rear wheels act a little like a steering axle for the trailer. The trailer doesn't follow the truck, it moves with the truck, as if the two were one. The bottom line is, Quadra-Steer substantially increases maneuverability and towing control. And it requires nothing from the driver except maybe a willingness to try it just once. Quadra-Steer is an electromechanical system that uses a series of sensors, switches, and an electronic control unit to control the direction of the rear wheels. Here's how it works. The front wheel position sensor, A, and the speed sensor, B, feed information to the control unit, C. The control unit determines the best angle of steering based on vehicle speed and front wheel position. The actuator assembly, D, operates the rear wheels. At slower speeds, less than approximately 40 to 45 miles per hour, the rear wheels turn opposite the front wheels. Turn angle varies as needed up to a maximum of 12 degrees. The result is outstanding maneuverability. At speeds above approximately 40 to 45 miles per hour, the front and rear wheels turn in the same direction. This provides an increased feeling of control. Now, controlling Quadra-Steer is as easy as pushing a button, and it's located on the dash. Labeled as four-wheel steer, the control has 3 settings: 2WS, 4WS, and tow. This is the two-wheel steering mode. In this position, the vehicle operates with only the front wheel steering and should only be used in specific instances. This is the four-wheel steering mode. The primary setting, this engages quadristeer and is what the driver should use almost exclusively except when towing a trailer. In that case, the system should be set here, the tow mode. In conjunction with the tow haul mode, the system provides the ability for the trailer to follow the path of the tow vehicle more closely. The system can be switched between modes at any time, at any speed. An indicator lamp on the dash will blink for a few seconds until the mode switch is completed. In fact, that blinking lamp indicates a pending mode change is in the system. The mode change will complete as soon as the front wheels are straight ahead. Once that happens, the light will remain solid. One other thing to keep in mind is that during you and your customer's initial experience with quadristeer, it will take a couple of minutes to become accustomed to the vehicle's responsiveness. Therefore, avoid any sudden steering wheel movements until you become comfortable. Now here's a few questions that might come up in your customer presentations. First, the issue of fuel economy. There isn't one. Running the system in two-wheel steering versus four-wheel steering or tow mode will not influence the fuel mileage. Although the added mass of the equipment and systems required for quadristeer, along with the aerodynamic influences, could slightly reduce mileage. What about tire wear? While the system can influence tire wear patterns, it has virtually no influence on overall tire life or tire rotational requirements. Will quadristeer affect rear wheel alignment? Yes. With quadristeer, the rear wheels will need to be aligned because of different rear wheel geometry. And yes, your service department, in fact any Chevy dealership, can perform the alignment. Okay, before we close this video, let's take a couple of moments to review some of the key points on the Silverado to familiarize the customer with the value of quadristeer. Because of its wider rear track and because the rear wheels turn, Silverados equipped with quadristeer come with a redesigned pickup box with flared fenders. They'll also have marker lamps on both the box and roof. These trucks will come with a limited slip differential, the ZX3 ride control suspension package, the Z82 trailering package, and four-wheel drive models will also include AutoTrack, while two-wheel drive models will come with traction assist. And remember, quadristeer is not available with the ProTech box. Well, that about wraps it up. For more information on Silverado and quadristeer, be sure to check out the Chevrolet website. Thanks for watching.